Someone's here to say hi to you. So cute! What do you want, monkey? So cutie! Hi. Wow, still in a crisis but shining like the morning sun. Can't believe how much of yesterday I spent crying. And it's like it's 1:30 p.m. right now, and I didn't eat anything and I didn't drink anything. But here's what I wanted to say. Even when I feel the emotion of anger and upsetness and feeling of like I've been betrayed in some minor way, other people can have a fight and then they feel satisfied with that at some level because the anger has left their body. But I think I process anger slowly, so the clarity I receive just comes a lot later anyway, and like the anger hits me later anyway. But even when I feel it, the feeling is valid and I don't really dismiss it, and I really feel it like a human part of me. Like I feel so alive and human, you know? But I don't think I really can fight because even if I have concrete examples of what I'm angry about, Jelly, don't do that. I'm sorry, Mama. I'm so sorry. I love you. I'm sorry. Soon, Jelly. So even if it's something real and concrete and something I can remember I'm angry about, like something happened, like you stole something from me, or like a better example would be like the way you behaved or said something and I'm angry about it. Both human interactions, I feel the feeling of anger and it might remain longer, but the understanding is so quick for me now where, okay, I always used to have an understanding because I'm very good at putting myself in someone else's shoes, so I'll be like, oh, this is why they did that. Whatever it is, childhood trauma, whatever, I know their whole life, etc. Okay, this is why they did that. If I don't know them, then I'll be like, maybe they're having a bad day, something like that. So that's an empathy understanding. But there's a deeper understanding now, which is that the thing I'm mad about, okay, like they didn't support me in some way. It looks like it looks substantial and tangible, okay? It looks like a rope being thrown at me, and I'm mad, and it's like huge and it's heavy. But, and I can talk about the rope, and I can be like, look at this rope, and everyone can see it. But if I talk about the rope, I'm not getting to the heart of it, okay? It just still doesn't feel true, even if I use all the right perfect words. And even if they remember it exactly the same as I remember it, it doesn't feel true because the truth is this like inner thread that's really, really, really small, that's like at the center of the rope. And that inner thread, I used to think was the understanding of why they did it. It's not. The understanding is still part of the outer rope. It's part of the scenario and the circumstance. The inner thread is the understanding that their behavior and actions and what they say and do is still, it's not them. And that piece of understanding has helped me see why I've been so conflicted in past disagreements and fights and conflicts. Because anytime someone has wanted to fight with me, I've not been able to fight back anyway. And then anytime I've been equally as angry, I've still not been able to fight back. And I always go like, even later, after this fact, I'll go, but I am angry, right? And I'll go, oh, it's because I've been people pleasing all my life, so I can't fight. And now that I'm working on that quality, I'm like, now I can fight. But even then, there's no truth in the quality of fighting for me. And then I'm like, but I do feel the anger. And then I'm like, in my mind, when I'm feeling angry and I'm like validating my anger and justifying it, these are like justified list of items, you know, of like the things done to me, the betrayals and like things said and things like that. What has hurt me, what has upset me. But even then, the fight itself contains no truth for me, because even if I listed out all of these things, and even if they understood it perfectly, even if I used all the right words, even if they were like, yeah, I remember every single one, I'm really sorry, whatever, we're not getting to the truth of it, which is that these things are not about the person. And not only that, every single time I've been in a fight or disagreement or upsetness or betrayal, whatever you want to call it, every time I've been in a situation like this, I have felt the anger very correctly and fully and like in my body, in my soul, in my mind. And at the same time, it's been true that I still love the person and I care about them, and nothing of my feeling has changed about them. And in the past, I've been like, because I understand them. In the past, I've been like, I'm too empathetic. In the past, I've been like, I'm too much of a people pleaser. I am putting their needs above mine. All of that was true. But beside that, I was seeing the inner thread, which is that who you are has nothing to do with the list of items. Who I am has nothing to do with the list of items. It does, I'm not saying, there's no value to improvement, but I'm talking about something larger, a soul-to-soul connection. And that's true, that when I see you as a soul, I will continue to see you as a soul for the rest of my life. And I see everyone as a soul now. And it's just, it's a really freeing feeling, obviously, because there's so many choices I could have made yesterday. To talk about, to verify and validate my anger, to talk about the list of items, to get some sort of validation back of like, yes, you were angry. To withhold the love and the knowledge that I see your soul. And I didn't withhold it. And I'm glad I didn't, but when that happens, the anger part of me, the human feeling in me doesn't really leave, and I felt so sick to my stomach. I was so anxious. Because I was like, oh, I didn't say my truth. And like, this is like my anger talking to me, going like, you didn't say my truth. You didn't say how angry you are. You didn't behave via me. You didn't behave angrily. They don't know you're angry. They don't get it. They're not seeing the intensity of your anger. You didn't list the items. They could have seen how angry you are about everything. And how like sad and upset and how like, I don't know, like list the items so they can see what you're not aligned with. And I felt sick yesterday because there's just so much conflicting shit, bro, because it's all happening at the same time. And today, this morning, and so much happened yesterday after too. Just kept crying and crying. Yeah, after my anger saying all this to me, and I'm like second guessing myself. I'm like, I should have taken it a different direction. I don't fucking know. Like, if I was gonna do it, why didn't I do it? You know? Oh, so interesting. Because in the past, I've done these things and disagreements, and I've on purpose kind of lied down to avoid a conflict. But this is not what happened yesterday, although it looks exactly the same. And I think some part of me was like, did I do that? Because it looks exactly the same. And I was just going like this, and I was so much up here that it went into my body, and I was so sick to my stomach. And then another thing happened last night where I felt insecure on top of that. So on top of the anger, I was like, oh, I knew I was a bad person. And this ties back to Monday, and today's Friday, where I was like, I'm not a good person. And I was like, oh, what am I doing? Like, I'm not thinking straight, you know? And then I saw some other things, and I was like, oh, I'm not loved. But it's like too much for one human body to bear. It's not about the mind. It's not, the mind has nothing to untangle, because this is just all illusions. And now I see that I did not do the wrong thing by showing peace and love, because that is my truth. And I know my anger is my truth, but it's the truth of the moment. And I'm not interested in sharing the truth of the moment when I'm bringing someone else into my chaos. I want to share the truth of all time, the truth of eternity, which is that we are one. And I am hurt, but I do care for you. Because, like, the anger and the list of things is between me and God. It's like between my human heart and God. It feels like a little child who is unloved and who feels like deeply unseen. But this person that I'm bringing into my world and inviting in and asking them to sit down for a conversation, they cannot give me what my anger wants. They cannot give me the feeling of being seen and being held and helping me with my anger. They specifically cannot, but maybe I'll meet people one day who can. I don't know. But so far, I don't know if I've met people who really talk to me about the bigger truth rather than the smaller truth. And I think we're missing true connection even in disagreements when we talk about the smaller truths. I'm not saying it's wrong to talk about them. I'm saying maybe one day I'll meet people who I can talk about the list of things with, but we both know that it's kind of like I have a cowboy hat on, you know? Like, it's real, it's valid, but it's not like the larger truth. The larger truth is that I love you forever. And both can be true and validated, you know? I do think Ellie and I talk like that. And I do think it comes with, like, years and a lot of time and a solid foundation of knowing that anger can't hurt us, and knowing that, but also that we don't really, like, yell at each other. And I know that a lot of people like to get their anger out in a more visceral reaction, and I don't handle that well. do think I approached it right based on who I am. I'm just not someone who can only talk about the rope and not address the main thread that runs through it. Because just throwing the rope back and forth is not gonna be conducive to anything. We're not gonna get anywhere anyway. Not that I'm trying to go anywhere, but if I am saying goodbye, I would rather say goodbye with my heart. Regardless of if I am receiving their heart. Because the way that I want to live, because I want to be so free. I want to be so free that I'm not attached to anything or anyone, and I already feel that, I'm a smoking guy looking out the window. And if I want to be that free, I have to decide how I want to say goodbye. And in the past, the goodbyes have been out of my control, and they have not been initiated by me. In fact, they've happened against my will, and I've pleaded and I've begged to God to not take anything from my life. But if I am to live the way I want to live, I want to decide how to say goodbye, and I want to practice doing it like this, and probably a lot better. This was my first one, but a lot better, and hopefully I won't feel sick to my stomach every time. I do feel free. I feel the feeling I felt 2 days ago when I decided, right? But it's really hard. It's really hard. But I feel a lot stronger. And not to punch someone else, because I love them. Just strong. Okay, bye. Love you. Love you.